Hello, this is my first castle video, making a mini series to see how far I can get in making castle games. Hopefully make tutorials for you guys or just make my own game. That's my main focus though. So this is basically a mini devlog. So what I'm going to be using to get this information and stuff is from the castle wiki. You can go and see all the things they wrote for you to learn from, like tutorials and things. So over here I'm already on something else, but basically just the castle wiki. You can type in wiki.castle and then you should get somewhere here. The first thing, I already know the basics and stuff. If you guys want me to do a tutorial on basics, you can also say that in comments. For now, I'm going to be learning more of what I already need to know, and hopefully you guys also learn with me. So go to expressions. I'm just going to quickly read what an expression is. An expression is a representation of a value that is resolved while the deck is playing. Some common uses of expressions include reading the values of variables, performing simple math, or creating randomness. What is very nice because you make some RNG games and that people always eat up for some reason. Expressions can also be nested and combined to support more complex things such as calculating health for characters, creating or crafting procedural games and animations, and even making generative artwork. Health for characters I'll be using a lot because I do want to make a game where the character does have health bar and then the attack, something like Brawl Stars. Expressions are always resolved to a numeric value. Some expressions take arguments. For example, when reading the value of a variable, you need to specify which variable to read. When adding two numbers, you need to specify which two numbers or expressions to add. Other expressions don't take any arguments, such as the time elapsed since card has started. Arguments are, I'm pretty sure it's like the things that you change. So like the numbers in this case, and then the last one is just the time. Makes sense so far? Using expressions. Expressions are an important component of rules in Castle. Typically, when editing a rule, any numeric value can be an expression. To edit an expression, look for the round beaker icon to the left, input, press it, and open a sheet to edit that expression. So I've used this many times. I don't know if you guys use it, but when you click this icon over here, you basically get a bunch of options of all other things you can change about the thing. It also shows here there's like values, choices and stuff, so we'll get into that. List of expression types. Some expressions are contextual to the enclosing response. For example, the number of repeats finish expression only appears if already inside a repeat response. Okay, I don't know what they said there, but I'll continue reading. The values are a constant number. That's usually just a number. You usually use that. Variable of a variable. What is like the type of thing you're using. The variable of a behavior property. And I think they didn't say behavior. Behavior is like the dynamic movement and then like the controls of the person, not in the logic section. And then you have choices. You can do weighted, choose, maximum, minimum. Maximum, minimum. Yeah, actually all of these I have no clue what to do yet, so I still have to learn that. Randomness, a random number with a Gaussian distribution. I mean, I can click on it to see what it is. Okay, let me actually do that. What is this? A random number with a Gaussian distribution expression. A random number with a Gaussian distribution is an expression for adding randomness near a center value. This chart over here, that makes absolutely no sense. It says the mean, and the mean is, what is the mean? I didn't do good in math, but I want to make games, so okay. This expression takes two values, a mean and a standard deviation, and returns a value close to the mean more often than the values far away. Okay, so I'm not too sure if you'd use this in RNG games, but the middle part you would get more often, and then the outer parts you wouldn't get that much often. So you could use this for, once again, gambling games. It's not just fully random. You can make some odds weighted. Oh, that kind of makes sense. So you'd rather get the 34% or the one in the middle, what would be like a rare item or like a common item, and then the one on the outer edge with a 0.15 would be like a legendary item, something like that. Okay, I understand that. I don't know if you guys understand that. And it's also called the normal distribution or bell curve. Interesting. So here's some examples. It's like if you want to launch your arrow approximately upwards, but the archer is a little bit inaccurate. One way of thinking of this is that the arrow's angle is about 90 degrees, but might be a few degrees crooked to left or right. You could like represent this as Gaussian expression with a mean of 90 and a standard deviation of 3. Usually the arrow will be accurate, but occasionally it won't. So it gives some randomness, but around the same center. And the thing that I nearly got confused by, I think I understand now, is if you make the standard deviation 3, it'll go off or -3, and then the mean will be 90 because that's the place you want to go all the time. This makes more sense now. Also with a campfire, that also makes sense. So that makes sense. I don't know if I'll use it too much, but there's uses here. So now that we know that, let's continue. There's also a Perler noise in 2 dimensions. I mean, it would be nice to know this as well. So I'm not trying to just get as much information I can learn, because maybe hopefully I'll find what I need for things I want to make. Like the first thing I want to make is a game where when you drag the shoot bar and you let go, it shoots in that direction, but also won't bug out because you can't make a circular collision on the outside. I don't know, it's a little bit confusing, but yeah. Perler noise is an expression that takes 2 values, the x and y position, and returns a single value between 0 and 1. The value returned by Perler noise is a pseudo-random value and can form pleasingly random yet uniformly distributed patterns when viewed alongside neighboring values. Don't know. Okay, let's just see what it's used for. This is used for when you want something to feel random, but to change smoothly through space. For example, you could generate random terrain by using x and y of the card space as inputs and assigning the Perlen output to the height of the hills at that location. Okay, I think it creates in a specific area the randomness, and that's already, we kind of know what that is. A random number in a range. That's self-explanatory. It'll choose a random number within like the range you choose. So yeah. Spatial relationships. This sounds very complicated and feels very complicated for me, but so like the y coordinate of the user's touch and the x coordinate of the user's touch, maybe you use that, and then when you like, you can say when tapped, create something at the y coordinate of the user's touch. I mean, that could make sense. Speed of actor, I guess you just change the speed. Angle of motion of the actor, angle from one actor to another in degrees, and distance between 2 actors. Okay, actually that's way more easier than I thought. So we have our arithmetic. So these are just math equations basically. The number of repeats finished, that just chooses how much repeats it will do until it's like stops. But the rest, logarithm, that is just log in math. Power 2. So I think you would want to use it if you just exponentially make it higher. Modulo, I have no clue what that is at all. Divide, yeah, it'll just divide 2 numbers. Multiply, subtract, add, just basic math at the end there. Then we have clock. So you have like time elapsed since card started. Clock tempo, time since last beat, current bar. The bars and stuff I've not really gotten used to. Beat elapsed since card started. Yeah, it's whatever. Then your music and functions. This part I really want to know the functions. Like I didn't even see sensors. The number of tags with, or the number of actors with a tag. Don't really use that. Smooth. I really want to see what this is, because what I want in like a game would be to make something move from point A to point B, but very smoothly, like with acceleration and stuff. But I'm not sure if this is gonna do it. I mean, it says here, the smooth expression returns a value which is smoothed over time. Given a number that changes over time, n times t, or a term or something, and a smoothing parameter, this expression updates its output y each step with the following. Y equals 0. I don't know if this is... I'm pretty sure this is in script, but you can also use it in logic. Y equals... What? Okay, so I don't know about this, but I don't really know what they talking about here. I'll just say it's smooth expression returns a value which is smooth over time. Then degrees of radians, sine. That's pretty nice. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is the smooth movement I'm talking about. I've seen people use it, so I need no sine. Clamp value between two bounds. Might make sense, I don't know. Mix two values round, run up or down, absolute value, don't know what that is. And then sensors are just like when you tilt your device like this, it tracks the movement and then you can make a game from that. But I don't use that. So very interesting. I mean, I've learned some stuff. So I'll get to a point where I start making games. But for now, I think I just want to learn a bit more. Like back on the home page here, we also have triggers, responses, and conditions. What I can learn. And eventually, I don't know where it is again. I found it somewhere. The scripts you can learn. Anyway, we can go triggers, responses, or conditions. I'll just learn some triggers. A trigger is a part of a rule that describes when to run the rule. All rules have exactly one trigger. So triggers describe events that might happen while a card is playing. For example, when a block is tapped by a player, destroy the block. They're pretty easy. They just make the things happen. So like when you tap something, you say when it's tapped. When something's created, you say when it's created, and then you follow it with logic. Okay. So yeah, I understand all these things. I mean, you can go through this as well, but this is pretty easier. And responses are just where they create all the things. Like, I'm not going to read all this, but a response will just do action for you after you've pressed or done the trigger. Like when you say tap, creates a blueprint or would create like something. You can enable behavior, tag, and like a lot of stuff. Like condition is one thing. If cash is like $100, then you say like create new button or something to make sure, like for a shop thing, that the person doesn't go negative cash. That's what I would use that for, and other things. And there's conditions as well. What is legit just the if statement. I don't know why this is at the top here. I'm pretty sure they're also showing us code. I've never or not the code, the script. I've never used script before, but I feel like it would be easier to just use script and all faster. But I first have to learn, and that's the only problem. Then I don't really know much of this, but I'm pretty sure it's a dumbed down version than other coding software places. So, and it's a list of conditions, but you already know what all of them are. And there's still a bit more things, like there are variables. So I'll quickly just go through these. An actor variable is like a variable of the certain actor, the certain character, and it's only on that specific one. So like you use this for like a HP bar for someone, or like if their speed goes up and down that specific actor, then you'd use it for that as well. And then we have a deck variable, what's like a global variable. It's across all cards on the deck and stuff, and it's not just on the specific actor. So there's a variable lifetime or something. Deck play, it's every time someone goes off the deck or the game, I guess, their numbers and their variables and stuff will reset back to the initial value. So if you have like $100, you go off and you come back on, you'll go back to 0 or whatever. Persistent players, this is what I usually use. It's per player and it saves for their progress, so that's usually just a nice one to have. And also, if you didn't know, to say the actual variable like in game on text, you just use a dollar symbol and then the variable name, and then it'll just show up. And behaviors and tags are kind of simple, self-explanatory. So yeah, I've learned a few things, mainly the randomness. So I found the scripts thing, There's a whole lot of things here, like tutorials, actor references. Like if you go to the tutorial here, getting started, you can learn all the scripts and stuff, and then go to the next one. It's like in a docs one. This one you find in docscastle.xyz, and then you just type script, and then you should get here. So like, also this is interactable. I've done this before. If I go here and I change, well, you'll see here. Here's an example of a basic script. Try changing number to 45 to a different number. You can also try adding a new line. My layout x equals 1 at the end of the script. So here is my rotation equals 5. So it's the rotation of this person. So if I change it to 100, it rotates. What's pretty cool. And then I can also add my layout dot x equals 1. So spaces are going to be dots, is what I'm seeing here. So if I type in my layout, I'm also not that fast at typing, but I'm going to type on my phone anyway, so I guess that's fine. So you see, each time I change the number, it just goes more. And if I do like 5, it should be somewhat off screen. If I do 10, it's fully off screen. If I do 1, it just moves a little bit. And I can also do negative, the way it goes other way. So that's really cool. I love this. So this is the first script, the most basic script. So onCreate is going to be when it's created. The onCreate handler is called when the actor is created, adding code to onCreate, which usually behave the same as if you put the code at the top level. By putting it on create makes it easier for Castle to know which code is necessary to run when creating a new actor. This example is similar to the previous example, but we're using onCreate handler instead of running the code at the top level. Top level? Wait, okay. Let me do this one and then I'll actually try it on Castle. So function onCreate, so use a function thing. And then in brackets you just say onCreate, and then here's the layout. Oh, so when it's created, okay, this makes sense. When it's created, you do this, and then you say the actual command or thing you want to do, and that's the rotation. So it'll be the same for the rotation. I can also add the my layout x and then make it equal like 3, so it'll move the layout. Interesting. So let me quickly just go into Castle and try this out. So here I am in Castle. If we go create new deck blank, and I'll test here, and yeah, I'll just test. So I should actually use something else. So let's say I use a wall, I place it down here, and then I go to scripts here. So it already says onCreate print hello. So all I have to do, if I'm correct, because I already know onCreate, I just have to change this to my dot layout, and I can choose the thing here. So like I say rotation equals 30. Yeah, it will show a red error unless you type out the whole thing. And then there's also on update DT, and there's some other things here. Don't really know what they do. When I put this down, yes, okay, that's cool. So I put them down, they don't change right now, but once it's created, it changes the rotation. And I can also do this for the layout and stuff. Like if I make it 3, when it's created, it'll move 3 away. So it's kind of hard to tell here. But I put them all right next to each other, they were right here, and then when I create, they move. So that's really cool, and of course onCreate. So there's so much things I can do with this. Yeah. So let me just quickly learn the other ones as well. So you can also do on update, I don't know, we'll see what it means now. The onUpdate handler is called every frame. You should use this handler when you want to continuously move an actor or continuously check the value of something, such as your position of the variable. So it checks every frame. I don't know if they mean animation frames or just generally like they check on it like a repeat type of thing. onUpdate gets called with one argument called DT. Okay, so this represents the number of seconds that have passed since onUpdate was last call. Why DT? I don't know really, but I'm sure you need that because it counts the seconds that's passed. And this is usually a small number such as 0.016. You can use DT to make things smoother, even if your deck runs at different frames per second on phones. Here's an example of using the on update to rotate the wall. So this is not a castle variable. This is a Lua. So I think I'm learning Lua now, I'm not sure. But I already can see the cube is slowly rotating. So local current rotation. So they use local. What I'm pretty sure local is like something specific, like an actor variable or actor in general. So the local current location or the rotation equals 0. Function on update dt. This means that we'll add 10 to current rotation every second. Current rotation equals current rotation plus dt times 10. Whoa. My layout rotation equals current rotation. Okay, this is the first slightly difficult one. So you would want to say current rotation equals, so it's basically the top here, current rotation that it is right now plus the seconds has passed times 10. Why times 10? I mean, if I change this, will it change the speed? Okay, so this is the speed it will go at. So if I make it like 3000, it will start spinning like crazy. 300, spin fast. 30, spin slow, and 3 barely turn. Sort of confusing. And after you end a code, you would want to put end as well once you're done to make sure it knows that's ended. Local, they didn't explain this to me, but yeah, I kind of understand. And my layout rotation equals current rotation. So I'm guessing at the start we make, I guess this is like a behavior or something, current rotation, and this is the rotation right now, but at the end it just says my dot layout rotation equals current rotation, because it's just going to equal that, and I'm assuming you can't use my layout rotation for this thing in general. So cool. I mean, I can change like a few things. Current rotation, I think it's the initial rotation that it has. Yes, okay, so this is the rotation it starts with. That's where you change it here. Okay. Then we have on message. Handler is used to pass messages from castle rules into scripts. This was added, this time we added a rule to the wall blueprint. The rule looks like this. When tapped, send script message hello. Now we can listen for the message in the script. Try tapping the wall to try this example. The function on message, comma, trigger actor, triggering actor. That's what it's gonna try to do. Trigger this actor over here. My layout Y. So just add, it'll make it go higher every single time we tap it, I'm guessing. Or lower, yeah. Okay, so every single time we tap it, it'll just plus the Y location or the Y layout to make it go down a little bit. Okay. And of course we can make it negative to reverse the movement to go up. Okay, that's cool. I don't know where they say when tapped. Oh no, they say here. Okay, so that makes a lot more sense. So basically when you tap it, it sends message hello. I think hello is just activation key. Then once it receives a message, it'll trigger the actor, make the Y layout different, and then okay. On message has two arguments, message and triggering actor. Message is a string that you wrote in rules. So in this case, message will be sent to hello. We can send castle variables in the message by doing variable name, just like with text blueprints. I'm not sure what the use case for that is yet, but I'm pretty sure there's quite a bit. Triggering actor is an actor type. You can use this to get information about the actor that you sent the message. In this case, triggering actor will just be the wall, since we're sending the script message to ourselves, but you could also use tell other actor to trigger one or on message on the different actor. We'll explain more actors in the next section. I somewhat understand, because triggering actor is triggers the actor, makes it's in the words, and on message also makes sense. So I'm just gonna quickly use all these scripts just to make one, not game, just one experiment. In castle, again the same thing. So I think I created a masterpiece here. Let me quickly just show you how it works. So when I tap here, blocks will just spawn. These are the walls just randomly. I used the random range with empty blueprint. When you tap the block, it falls down like this, very satisfyingly. And I'm pretty sure there's a way to do this in Logic, but this is just the first time I've done it in script. So yeah, I'll show you how it works. It just turns when you tap it. It's pretty cool, I guess. So like if I go into this, it just creates a random cube in the y and x coordinates 6 or a distance of 6 and stuff like that. And the big part when we go to the wall, so I kind of mixed the on update and on message commands from the guide thing, but basically it says on message when I tap it, it will make the local current location 0, so it'll start like that. I don't know how to do randomness on the script yet, but I'll figure out that soon. Then does function on update current location equals current location times 180, that's the speed, or plus the seconds as well. My layout rotation equals current rotation, and my layout y equals layout y plus 0.1. so every single second it'll make the it'll make the layouts go 0.1 speed downwards. So, and then you have to use two end functions. I just learned to end each function, or at the end of each function you'll need an end or even a local, but yeah. So I just did that and it's very nice. The scripting is gonna be fun. Gonna learn a lot other things. You're gonna learn a lot other things, but for now I have this and it's pretty cool, I guess. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching and see you guys next time. Bye bye.